Thursday, October 11th. Could we have a roll call, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Harlow,
Here.
Commissioner Curry,
Here.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Here.
Commissioner Jablonski,
Here.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Here.
Commissioner Willoughby,
Here.
Commissioner Fiasconi. Here. Commissioner Moore is absent, and Chairman Cashman.
Here. Next is public comment for non-agenda items. Does anyone have anything that's not on the agenda they'd like to talk
I have
about?
a few
Please, Bethany, you
updates.
had some?
So I have two updates here. The first is I'd like to recognize the efforts of Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Cernovich, and Commissioner Curry on all their hard work that they've done to restore our Carillon here in the Memorial Building and the bells. This work wouldn't have happened without them, so we wanted to recognize them. And I'm sad Commissioner Moore couldn't be here today, but I hope he watches the video. Obviously, there's been a lot of articles in the Hinsdalian, and this has been at the board for some time. The bells were installed when the building was first constructed in 1929. There's great inscription on it, and our Carillons haven't been working since, I think, the 2000s. So hopefully it will be up and functional by Christmas walk, and I know they've already made some good progress on it. So I wanted to thank them for all their efforts.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bethany. It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Okay.
And then I have one more small announcement here related to also the Memorial Building for the 150th Building Plaza and Roof Railing Campaign. Our campaign is up and running, and I think since last week we received over $35,000 in donations from residents and businesses, which is absolutely fantastic. Our village staff and our board members have been finalizing the project details and plans, and they've been looking towards value engineering and ensuring that there's long-lasting materials used, the landscaping is robust, and finalizing an appropriate timeline for execution. As a reminder, we have 6 different donation levels, and businesses who participate will receive a window cling. Residents or families who donate will receive a yard sign, so you've probably seen some of those around town. And then depending on the donation amount, donors might be recognized on a plaque that will be built on the patio when it's constructed. These contributions are tax deductible, and the target deadline is for December 31st at the end of this year. So 100 years ago, our village came together to fund a working memorial to honor these Hinsdalians who fought in our world wars. Hinsdalians came together and they funded this building, which is our memorial building. So let's keep that memory alive, and let's keep that honor alive, and let's keep that sense of community alive. So there's information on the website, and you can donate online as well. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Bethany. It's fantastic. Okay, next order of business, our approval of our minutes from our August 9th meeting. Commissioners have any additions, revisions, requested? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So moved, Jablonski.
Second, Willoughby.
Roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Harlow,
Abstain.
Commissioner Curry,
Abstain.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Abstain.
Commissioner Jablonski,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Willoughby,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiasconi. Aye. Chairman Cashman.
Aye. The next order of business are sign permit reviews. We have 2 tonight. The first is case A-27, 2023 for 22 West First Street. Images Med Spa. It's a sign permit review, installation of 2 wall signs. Is there someone here representing the applicant? Can you come up, just give us a quick overview?
How are you? Thanks for having me. I'm Robbie from Olympic Signs in Lombard.
Okay.
2 signs here proposing. First on the front elevation, just non-illuminated dimensional letters. Sign on the side of the building, just a simple face change. Existing lights on top will remain. Again, non-illuminated, dimensional. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Laura?
I don't have any objections. I would say I'm in favor of the application and the signs. I think they meet the code requirements, and the signs themselves fit the surrounding context while identifying business in a very nice and appropriate way.
Okay, thanks, Laura.
Mhm.
Cynthia?
I agree. I have no comments. It's going to look great.
Jim?
No comments, very tasteful.
Thank you.
Jerry?
I wish they were all this easy.
Yes.
Sure. Julie?
I think it's very well done. Fits in with the historic downtown, very tasteful.
Thank you.
Mark?
Remain the same as everybody. So.
Anna?
Same. I just noticed that they were up before they got approved and just wanted to note that maybe.
The one is a temporary display, and then the one on the side wasn't installed yet.
The front was though, right?
Yeah, that's just a
Yeah.
temp sign.
Okay.
It is a temporary sign. We've worked
Yeah.
with them on that because there was some time between the HPC.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It looks very good.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve case A-27, 2023 as submitted?
Krillenberger, so motions.
Second, Curry.
Roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Harlow,
Aye.
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Jablonski,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Willoughby,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiascone,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye. Our next sign permit review is case A-29, 2023 for 908 North Elm Street for University of Chicago Medicine Advent Health, installation of one wall sign and installation of new sign faces on existing ground sign. Is there someone here for the applicant? Welcome.
Hello. Gary Potts, owner of Professional Permits. Our address is 58171 Dragonfly Court in Osceola, Indiana. Here tonight to discuss the sign package that we put together. Basically, this is a rebrand. Amita, which was the partnership of Ascension and Advent that has dissolved. And so the Advent has partnered now with U Chicago Medicine. So we are excited to have them on board. But of course, that's going to require some sign changes. So that's why we're here, to discuss the signage. So basically, we're asking to change the brick structure, the freestanding sign, and also put a new wall sign up where the other one was. Pretty self-explanatory. I can answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you. Anna, any questions, comments?
Nope. Looks good.
Mark?
Is the current standalone sign illuminated?
I believe it is internally.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Oh, the existing sign. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see the note. Okay.
Yes.
No, I think overall it looks good.
Julie?
I think it looks fine.
Jerry?
I guess they are all this easy.
Yes.
Given the history of that property and the signs we've had, this one's really easy.
Okay, thanks. Jim?
The illustration is faithful to the colors, black and white.
Yes.
I have no other questions.
Okay.
Cynthia?
No questions. I can't keep up with the changes in,
Healthcare and, yeah,
it's almost, but it looks nice.
thank you.
Laura?
It looks really nice. I'm in favor. It meets the code requirements. It works well with the existing. You are really continuing the aesthetic that is there, but incorporating the new name very nicely.
Thank you.
I was thinking, reviewing this, it must be good to do healthcare signage because it keeps changing. Constant
Good
flow of
business.
work, yes. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Looks good. Do I have a motion to approve case A-29, 2023 as submitted?
So moved. Cernovich?
Second, Willoughby?
Roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Harlow,
Aye.
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Jablonski,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Willoughby,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiascone,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye. Thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
Our next order of business is a public hearing. It's case A-38, 2022 for Vine Street Station, Plan Development Detailed Plan, Exterior Appearance and Site Plan Review, map amended, tentative and final plat of subdivision, and sign permit review to allow for the development of 12 age-restricted lifestyle housing units within the existing building. Okay. Okay. Where was I? At 125 South Vine Street. Is there someone here representing the applicant?
Can
Do
you
we
hear
need to
me?
swear people in that are going to testify?
Yeah, do you want to, we can do a
Fin-
motion to open the public hearing and
Okay.
then have everyone, she can do a group swearing in.
We have a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved. Jablonski. Krillenberger seconds.
Roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Harlow,
Aye.
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Jablonski,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Willoughby,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiasconi,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye. Okay, so if there's anyone who would like to speak on this matter, if you could please get sworn in. Oh. Just one person? Two people?
We
Okay.
want the applicants to also, you might want to also get sworn in.
Whoever's going to speak, if you could raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you like to give us an introduction, an overview?
Sure.
Nice to see you again.
It's really good to be back here. Good evening to our Plan Commission. Good evening, Chairman Cashman. Good evening to our Plan Commission members. This is month 31 of us working on the Vine Street Station project. We've got a whole team of people that are really excited to be here this evening. My name is Drew Mitchell. I'm a resident of Hinsdale. I live at 122 East 7th Street here in town. And joining me from Holiday Properties, which is the applicant, is my partner Mike O'Connor, our lead designer Lori Capel, and my associates Mike Doyle and Donald Tomei. We've also got our architect of record this evening, Chris Walsh from Tandem Architecture. We're represented by Lauren Kavanaugh. She's our counsel. And we've got our traffic study consultant, Javier Milan from KLOA here. I'm also really thrilled to see that our sellers are here, which really is probably an unfair way to describe them. They've been partners. So we've got Pastor Klein, who's the head of the Zion Lutheran Church, as well as the congregation president, Suzanne McGivney. And thank you for coming this evening. So you've seen this project before. They've encouraged me to be concise, which has been a lifelong challenge. So I'll just try to frame this quickly. We're going to talk about the changes from our concept plan submission to detailed plan submission, which is in front of you this evening. I also want to thank the Plan Commission, and I want to thank staff. You've all been great partners. I think this is really a tremendous example of us looking inside of our community at assets that we've got and figuring out adaptive reuses to bring the glory and the use and the utility back to existing buildings. And I think now, while this process has taken a little bit long, it's been very deliberate and intentional. And so the reason why I'm thanking you is because I think that the output and the outcome of this process is dramatically improved versus what it otherwise may have been. So thank you, and I'm proud of this collaboration. I think it could be a case study for other communities, and there's some folks at Notre Dame who've heard that we're converting a portion of a church facility into housing, and they have Catholic institutions all over the country that are experiencing similar issues. So who knows what comes of this, but it tells me that I think that we're on a very good course here. So Chris Walsh will be talking through the changes from our concept plan to our detailed plan. There's really a couple of them, and I'll quickly go through the 5. Parking previously was non-compliant. That was an issue at this body as well as at Village Board. We promised to do our best to try to maximize parking and also make sure that the spaces had optimal function, width, length, and we've achieved that. We've removed the loading space. We'll talk about why, but I think that that's actually an improvement to the plan. We further refined the outdoor spaces. There are 3. We're really excited about what we're doing. One is a public pocket park that you could have a Starbucks on your walk home. There's a sitting garden as well as an outdoor space for the residents. There is a request for signage. There's an awning. It's an existing awning on the building. We'd like to replace it with a black awning, and we'd like to add a logo for the Vine Street Station, which is the branding of this development. There's also 2 window decals, which I understand require variances. And then we've been working hard with our counsel, Lauren Kavanaugh, who's been collaborating with Michael Mars on preparation of the bylaws and the covenants, which are necessary as part of our final agreement and this approval. So, all right, did I do a good job staying on track? Thank you. I'd like to welcome Chris Walsh from Tandem Architecture. He's a partner with the firm, has great history doing adaptive reuse projects. And Chris, welcome.
Thank you. Okay, I think I lost my...
Chris, the password is right at the bottom left. I think it might be boardroom.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's on a little.
It's okay. Should have taken typing class. It's not, I don't know, it's not good. Oh,
Need a simpler password.
yeah.
Try 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna lock out the TVs.
Yeah, got it. Didn't cap the second R. Okay. All right, so as Drew had mentioned, there were not, since we were here last, let's look at something. Since we were here last time, I think most of you have seen the project before, you're familiar, so I'm not gonna bore you with other things that we've done, or the only things that we've done that are different. The parking, we did not have 9-foot wide stalls. Since we've been with you, we were able to really measure the building, get true drawings, get a structural engineer out there, try to understand how the structure would work. And we were able to kind of reconfigure all of the spaces to get 9-foot spaces. So we're no longer asking for that variance. So that's why that is on there. The next one. Okay. All right. As Drew had mentioned too, the loading space. After talking it through, we talked about this with the board. We are required to have a loading space just by the code, but there's only 12 units here. The reality of it is once these get sold, people will move in and may never move out. So we're really not anticipating a lot of move-ins, move-outs. So we've asked for forgiveness to not have a loading space. There are spaces on the site where a truck could come in and sit, block half the ramp for a little while. People could still get in and out. So there is a loading space, but after talking with staff, we're just not even gonna identify it. We know it's there. We're just asking for, to not have an identified loading space. For the outdoor open space. That is the side yard here. So in the side yard, we're asking for, this has always been a bit of an issue, just the way the code is, the way this building is situated. It's on a corner. This becomes the side yard. If there was something next to it, this would be the front yard. So we're kind of fighting, either way, we'd have to do a variance. So we're asking for, this area is going to be the private space for everybody in the building. And we're asking, there will be a TV out there, there'll be a fire pit, so there are just elements out there. It is going to be fenced in, the fence will be to code, but we're asking that we're allowed these things that normally wouldn't be allowed were this a single-family home. The fence and the ramp, so going through this, we are in a floodplain. We've had to lift the building, the first floor, not lift the building. We have to lift the first floor, which raises the existing door. So there's going to be 2 to 3 steps going up. We still want to have an accessible ramp, an accessible way to get in. So if you'll notice off to the right, we've kind of split that garden wall, and there would be a little gate there and a ramp that would go into the side yard, and then we'd add another side entrance to the building here. So again, since the last time we've talked, all these things have happened. We've kind of realized that door had to be raised, which raises the platform inside. So we're going to preserve the door. We're going to preserve the sign. We're going to have to manipulate the stonework a little bit, but we are trying to save everything else. So we're planning to save everything else. Indoor plans, they're really just minor changes. We had to add a sprinkler room for the fire department. They had asked for that. That took a bedroom out of one of the units. So that just kind of that little red area in the back. And then just with field measurements and that, we've kind of had to manipulate the plans a little bit. So, but they're still the unit count and all that is still the same. Building elevations, we've done just minor. changes, again, just as units move around, shifting windows. We didn't add any balconies or anything like that. All that stuff is still in the same spot. And we did add the, you can see the signage. There is an awning. There is an awning there now. We're basically going to recreate it. It's actually even a little bit shorter, black. But since there is the logo on there, we're asking that we can have the logo. It roughly works within your sign code, but it's slightly bigger. But it's and there's 2 decals on the door. So that's the signage. We're not asking for a lit sign or anything else like that. And that was it. And then covenants. So I'll turn it back to Drew. Oh, yes. So we are adding, there was a flagpole here back in the day, and it's right at the corner. If you go by the site, there's still a concrete star.
I think it's shown on your site plan.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I was wondering what that was.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. So my cursor's not working on here, but it's in the corner park. Planning on reusing the star or recreating the star, putting a flagpole there. Again, the code for a flagpole, it's really only for on top of a building, so we're asking for the variance basically to put the flagpole back there and reinstall it. So that's the other variance.
You also, I think we had remarks on the eastern facade of the building, and there was the trellis that was added, and I also believe there were windows. So that was reactive to this group.
Yeah, so you can see in the upper right-hand corner, that's the existing building, east-facing facade that they're talking about. Not much to it. Do have some. Yeah, yeah. So the bottom elevation there is now what it will look like from the east. We have trellises on 2 of the east-facing facades. We've added a window at the end of the hallway, and then we've had the balcony, and then another window within the unit. So, anything else? Good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, Chris. And this all goes along with, probably, as I was looking at my notes, I didn't properly identify some of the really good things we're doing, saving the cornerstone, cleaning up the limestone. This building needs a bath, big time, and there's great preservation that's going on, including the 2-story stained glass window that we plan to interior lit. And so next is covenants, bylaws. I'd like to welcome Lauren Kavanaugh up. I don't know that there are necessarily going to be a lot of questions, but there was the village board driven 80% of units would be age restricted. This is, to me, something that we're willing to adhere to. It's probably a village board concern more than this body, but we are trying to not be opinionated on it and just trying to do what we're being asked. But there were things that might relate to Plan Commission that go into the covenants and bylaws. For example, we can't store things on the balconies. And there were a number of them, and I'd be not doing anybody a service to try to go through that. But I suppose if there are questions here on that, we do have our attorney here, and we're willing to respond to anything that might be of concern. So I don't know that I have much else to add. I'm thankful for this group. I'm thankful for the opportunity to work on such a fun and exciting project that's so close to home for me. That's unusual. And we're really eager to get started. And so are a lot of people that are interested in living in this building. So we look forward to hearing your feedback. And with that, I will be quiet. Thank you.
Okay. Just as an introduction, these are kind of the overall things that we should consider reviewing this the plan development detailed plan. One, whether the detailed plan is in substantial conformity with the approved concept plan. Number 2, the merit or lack of merit of any departure from the detailed plan from substantial conformity with the approved concept plan. 3, whether the detailed plan complies with any and all conditions imposed our approval of the concept plan. And then finally, whether the detailed plan complies with provisions of this code and other applicable federal, state, and village codes, ordinances, and regulations. So just as we ask questions and go through our review, just keep that in mind. And with that, Laurel, would you like to start us off?
Well, yes, I have a little list here. So thank you for the explanations, and the project seems really clear. I am so appreciative of the reuse of that building, because you're right, it is a special building. It's been there for decades. It's really part of the fabric of the community at this point, and so reusing it in this way is fantastic. I was wondering about the loading space going away, and you explained that very well, so I don't think I have any difficulty with that. With regard to the flagpole height, this pole is quite a bit higher than what would be code compliant. So am I correct in thinking that the height of this is what the flagpole would be if it were code compliant but mounted on the roof?
Yeah, actually, the way the code is, I think it's 15 feet above the roof. We're actually going to
Okay.
be below the roof.
So
It's shorter than the building still. I think it was 30 or 35 feet, I can't remember.
35.
35, yeah, 35 feet, so, and that's still below the height of the building. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. so-
Okay.
I think it would look odd if it was any smaller.
Right, yeah. It's tough to, you go up to the next size and then go higher.
The context is helpful, so
Right.
thank you. I have no objections to the map amendment. I do have a question about the outdoor TV. I'm wondering if it would create a distraction to people who are driving along Second Street.
I've been encouraged not to die on the hill for this TV. Okay, I really think it's important. These are outdoor living rooms in Hinsdale. I have a TV outside. We're out watching movies, and I'm trying to replicate an experience. But what you're asking is about safety, and I paying somebody to be here. Could you talk about? I mean, you may not even know how to answer this. I feel like it's going to be screened by our fence to some degree. We would be willing to discuss certain hours that it could be used, so that this would only be a problem in the evening. I'm not going to die on the hill, though. So I just we got 12 families that are going to now have a different experience with outdoor, and so a big part of what we're doing here, and we haven't really come out and said this, is we build transit-oriented developments. It's really, we built one in Westmont called Quincy Station, one in Downers, and they have these great outdoor amenity spaces. And people, they're walking more. The way that they're using even their existing spaces is changing, and we're trying to create an opportunity for community where, and we do this in our buildings. We have movie nights, or I won't go. So I was worried about it. It did get into here. If you want me to really take it out, we will. I'm not worried about safety. I'd be willing to agree to remove it later if it became a distraction. I'd be willing to discuss hours of its use, and I'd be willing to remove it if it's feels that if it's very important.
I'm not bringing it up because of a huge objection. Lots of people have giant picture windows in their homes, and they have huge TVs inside their homes, and so you can see what's on TV even when you're driving by, and it's not outside. So but this question occurred to me, if it is, because it is really close to the sidewalk.
Right.
And so I guess I was wondering a little bit more about height, screening, just making sure that those safety considerations are taken into account when you're planning that space.
Sure.
That was the main point of my question.
I'm totally open-eared on this, and now I'm thinking about ways that we could deal with this, whether that be through landscaping, screening, or TV orientation, or right now it's actually facing south, So you would,
Facing east.
I'm sorry, it faces east, sorry. So if I'm driving west, you know, you could see that.
It's
Yeah, it's
tucked
a
back in
one-way
the corner.
street too, so.
I know exactly where it is. I just misspoke. Sorry about that.
It's just north of the trellis.
So it would be located around here.
Yeah, the cursor's not really showing up there. But it's in the corner of the building where that vine is growing up.
Right.
Right.
There are going to be other trees. We're not showing all of the trees here, but there's existing trees. We're going to add bushes and things like that. So I agree with Drew. I think it's going to be shielded. I think, you know, like you said, you get these through windows and all that as well. Reflections of light are just as bad. And it's not a real busy street from what I've seen. I don't live in the town, but so I guess that would be mine.
I would also just add, our experience in 90 to 120 unit buildings is that these actually, a lot of it is people imagining using it, and they're really not even used very much. I mean, we're doing tours all the time, and then TVs are never on outside. So maybe for that reason, I should be willing to let it go. But I'm not unless you make me. The other is that, you know, there is some discussion about the orientation of Second Street. I'm now bemoaning that it's westbound. If it were eastbound, this wouldn't be an issue. So I think I'm looking at you, Lori, and thinking through ways that maybe we could make it, I mean, I could even see it on an articulating wall mount and facing back this way so that it's not, the light exposure would be back towards the building. What I'm trying to not do is make myself have to come back with a solution in a month. And, but I hear you, and we were gonna come up with a creative way to deal with this.
Okay.
Unless you tell me to get rid of it, which we'll do.
Do you want to stay on the TV topic?
That's it from me.
I'll come back to that one, okay.
Anything else?
Nope,
All right,
nothing
thank you.
else from me.
Cynthia?
Again, I think you're doing a great job. I love the fact you're repurposing this building. It's a lovely building. I think it's gonna get even better. The bath idea sounds wonderful. It's gonna look beautiful when you get done with that. Just to piggyback on the TV, I wasn't so worried about the visualness of the TV, but the sound for the neighborhood. And I'm wondering how you would buffer sound in the corner with the brick walls. Is there some way that you, in your other installations, have a way of, again, buffering sound?
I wonder, Lauren, if you could solve this for us through bylaws and covenants and creating rules around TV and its hours of operation for this space outside. And we establish bylaws that require that we not use the space after a certain period of time. I mean, I think it, you know, you don't want people to not be able to grill and things like that, but we could easily say that no TV after dusk. Sound would be, to me, sort of is similarly pollutive as light. If, you know, I don't know that it would bother anybody during the day. Here's what I really think is that these end up being, I mean, I had a TV at my house at 544 West 7th Street, and, you know, it's on the side of, I just don't ever remember anybody ever being bothered.
Okay.
So, you know, another idea we had was that you could do a projector and not have this installed, and, you know, another idea would be to figure out a way to have the TV be westbound, but now I'm working on Trustee Harlow's problem, not Trustee Commissioner Curry's issue of the sound. I don't know, guys.
Just a question.
Yeah.
You know, I'm picturing a football game or a baseball game and things getting loud and neighbors saying, hey, this is too noisy in the sound carrying. But again, just to kind of piggyback on that idea, just to think about how you would, there must be ways to abate the noise somehow. Plantings. Or
Yeah, we could actually functionally
Volume
limit the
control.
volume of the TV. We do that on one of our amenity decks so that it doesn't disturb the neighbors at night that live on the deck, because the sound bounces off of the walls. So we have dealt with this in an operational setting. at some point, we're gonna be good neighbors. We got, we got the church next door, very limited residential nearby. I talked to the neighbor who is immediately west of the preschool today. I mean, they seem excited. They don't feel like a bunch of complainers to me, is my read. But I also think that there was some discussion at the village board level about if something here has unintended consequences, there could be a mechanism to bring the HOA in and discuss and find resolution and perfect whatever issues there are. And maybe that could be a marching order, is that there's a trigger that we have to come and see the village if we're in violation of something. They're gonna get notes on this, and it's gonna now be probably a topic at that forum. So, but we'd be willing to limit TV hours if I'm gonna be prescriptive. We'd be willing to do volume control on the TV. We'd be willing to write it into the bylaws.
Next question. You do stipulate in here that no one can rent one of these spaces less than 6 months. So that will be something written into your bylaws or your covenant to address. And the bigger question is, because I know you're talking about getting rid of that loading zone, how do people move into this building? There's one elevator, correct? So if
Yes.
someone's got a baby grand piano they're bringing to their space,
Yeah.
how do they get it in and out?
Well, do you wanna?
Special
I
movers.
have an answer.
Yeah.
Like they do in New York.
It's only, it's a 2.5-story building.
Yeah.
Right.
Technically, in most cases, really by the code, you're not even required to put an elevator in here. So, if you've been in the building, these are size stairs. We're not shrinking them down.
Okay.
You could move two grand pianos up there at the same time. It's just huge. So I guess I'm not concerned about it. There's 2 very large stairwells there, to move those things up. And at most, you're going up 2.5 floors.
Okay.
So that would be my response.
There's a second part of this, which is just how are we moving people in and out of the building? And also potential for, this also becomes a much bigger operational challenge on larger projects. So the worst time is gonna be at the beginning. You're gonna have 12 people, but there's gonna be build-outs going on in the units. The likelihood of anybody needing to move in on the same day is basically zero. Again, in these 100 to 300 unit projects that we have, even the move-in, move-out is surprisingly little. If we have 12 units and we average, the average ownership is 4 years, you got one person moving in every 500 days. So roughly, I think I'm on the record, so somebody's gonna check my math. But I mean, it just is really a non-issue. Now, logistically, there is a ramp, and you'll be able to back the truck down, and Chris, keep me honest here. And then you're gonna be able to wheel through the garage with your mattress, and the workers would go right to the elevator and go up to your unit, unless they have a grand piano. I just learned they're gonna go up the stairs. But I think it's thoughtful, and I think it's gonna work really pretty well here. There's another approach where you could have the moving truck park on 2nd Street, and then they could wheel up the ramp, and then wheel into the actual elevator. We think they're gonna be, we think the residents would probably rather them go through the garage. But these things will probably be able to be better defined when we're standing in the space that's been reimagined, and we'll be able to feel it out a little bit. I think the homeowners are gonna start to have big opinions about how and when and where and why. And they're gonna have the ability to control the HOA and make these decisions and self-govern within reason. So that's, but I'm not, as a guy who's constantly worried about how do I handle trash and how do I handle move in, move out, I think I've now brought up another thing, but I think they're both thoughtfully handled in this current plan.
Can I ask one more? The flagpole, only because we've had to deal with this issue on another occasion, that either flags, if they're flying all night, have to have a light on them, is that correct? Or they need to be taken down
Okay.
at night, and there is a sound associated with the flapping of a flag.
Okay.
Just a heads up on that.
Okay. good to know on lighting the flag. We try to incorporate a flag on all of our projects, so this is something that, again, if, well, where am I going with that? I hear you on the flag noise. You know, I can't speak to how large our flag is. I heard if we get any bigger, we go into a bigger flag. More importantly, we need to light it. I think we've got to do that. I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to do that. So we're agreeing to that. And we have to agree to that. It's the rules. Okay, got it.
I'm good.
David.
Same thing, thanks, same thing. Jim?
Glad to see Pastor Klein is here, and thrilled that the congregation is able to utilize underutilized assets, and I appreciate your persistence over the last 31 months. Real quickly, this is I'm not an architect, so the distinction between trellis and balcony, just in a few words, they're not the same thing?
No, the trellis is it's like a lattice work that goes up the side of the wall that vines will grow on.
Great.
Yeah, and then balcony is balcony.
Okay, and then the condo. We're throwing another word out there, aren't you? Okay, that's what I thought. And then you're age restricted
Yes.
to what age?
58%, 55.
In a word?
So the intent is age restricted to 55 plus.
And then I see the provision in the covenants, nothing on the balcony. Is there any other provision other than policing by the homeowners association? You're 54, you're out of here?
I'm not in a position to be able to answer that.
You have a lawyer
yeah,
here?
that'd be great. Lauren, if you wouldn't mind. What I can share while she's walking up is that we can't do the 100% 55 plus due to a fair housing law that you can't age discriminate. So we are trying to comply.
Yeah, I
I'm
know
not
other
sworn in. Do you want me to
organizations have.
get sworn in?
Yes.
I did
yes,
not stand up with everyone else.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Thank you, welcome.
So the way the age restriction goes is during the contract process, any contract purchaser would fill out an age verification addendum, an affidavit essentially to, myself and the developer that they are going to be occupying the unit. So the Fair Housing Act requires at least, it's 80% 55 and up, so it can't be 100% restricted. It's 80%, so at least 80% of the building has to have a resident that's 55 and up. And in the declaration and bylaws, nobody under the age of 22 can occupy the unit.
Okay,
Does
outstanding.
that answer
Thank
your
you.
question?
Yes.
Okay.
And then a kind of a mechanical question, but Mr. Mitchell, I heard you're sold out or close to it. Is that the case? In a few words.
You know, I don't pay attention. You don't taste anything before you bake it. We got so much interest, and I think really it's driven by the fact that we have our baby boomer generation has these big houses and their kids are gone and they want to walk to get dinner. And there's no product. And this is a national issue. It's not a Hinsdale issue. It's everywhere we go. And there's other things that are impacting housing in a big way. We have tremendous interest in this. And what we've been doing is taking a note and writing a name down. And we are not assumptive that we are going to, we have to. We don't own it. We don't own it?
And clearly you're not approved.
You can't sell it when you don't own it.
This is Hinsdale, so wheels can come off buses at random times, or I
No,
shouldn't
that's
say
not
that.
how Hinsdale works.
I-
The wheels stay on the bus.
Round and round.
Go round and round, but
Right. So I wish you the best.
Oh, well,
And it
thank you.
Sounds like you're not sold, but you've got lots of interest. So I'm thrilled that you're in town, and this sounds great.
Thanks, Jim. Jerry?
We're gonna come back to the TV again.
You can, talk TVs. You know TVs.
I'm thrilled you're doing the project. I'm really excited about it. But I have the misfortune of living 500 block of West Hickory Street next to someone who has 2 TVs, 2 subwoofers, 4 speakers, and a swimming pool in their backyard. I know the noise ordinance, it's electronic produced noise Monday through Friday to 10 o'clock, and on weekends till 11. And when the kids were younger, listening to the Disney movie about ice, I know the words to the song. Now I know the words to the song.
Frozen?
And now that the kids have gotten older, I know all the college football games they're watching till 11 o'clock at night. I've even been out of town, and occasionally games go in overtime, and neighbors have called the police. It gets really loud. It gets really loud. And I know people turn up the volume because it's outside and there's no echoing back, and that ends up carrying very, very far. Neighbors as far as 5 houses down complain about these people. I don't know what you're gonna do about it. Dusk works. Certainly limiting the volume, but someone sitting 20 feet away on a patio from a jumbo TV is not gonna be able to hear the sound if it's mitigated that much.
Especially if they're over 55.
What'd you
Get
say?
to 55, I'll realize
I
that.
will, I'll call you and let you know how it
I'm
goes.
63. But I view that as a concern. There's no one right next door to you, but if this gets turned up, the people across the street are going to hear it. And that's my only concern with the property. As soon as I saw the TV outside, I said, wow, that's going to be tough on the neighbors.
If I may react to that, are you open to having ripcords that would allow us to readdress this should it become a problem?
No.
You'd be-
It's got to be addressed in advance.
Okay,
When I actually called people on the village staff, I know some of them.
yeah.
They said the village staff suggested I call the police if I wanted a remedy about this
Yeah.
neighborly issue,
Noise is
and I
Chris.
didn't
Okay.
call the police. I wasn't the guy on the block who called the police.
So, we would agree to dusk, we would agree to volume limitations, and I mean, that's our position, and I'm hearing it's a concern of 2 people, and like I said, Mike said, do not die on the hill on the TV. I want it bad because it's part of how I live, and it's become a big, and I'm not the guy who's.
Say how close you live to Jerry.
I hate Frozen. I can't. I have that song in my head too. But I do want our community to be able to actually watch a football game outside. I don't want to discourage that. I want to encourage it. I want them to be grilling. And I think something else happens when you have neighbors and you're living in this kind of environment is you actually are more respectful because you see the person in the hallway versus your neighbor who you maybe only see when they get mail. So, but all of these decisions that you have to make in our ultimate product could have precedent too for other things. And so I get all of it. I have this dream of this really great outdoor living room. And it's not, well, I should have said outdoor family room because living rooms usually don't have TVs. But that's it. It's the outdoor family room. So,
It's potentially an HOA problem, not just neighbors. If somebody's up watching the Pac-12 Classic that goes till 1 in the
I know.
they can only go to 11 without
Yeah.
violating the law. And the 75s, not the 55s, are nodding off at 9:30 and they're tossing and turning. That's,
Premier
Not-
League Soccer starts at 4 a.m.
I have to be up for.
Sure, they have to fill out what league, it's ACC only, and, you know, all right.
Okay.
There are other ways. I
Yeah,
actually
right.
think there's something with this articulation or, you know, but with all of it, I think it can be done thoughtfully. I mean, there could even be one where they come out and we could do a cool element, but this, again, we're talking about noise, we're talking about respecting volumes, and we don't know who's gonna live there. I mean, and so I appreciate this concern and consideration for the future and what could happen. And I just, there's a phrase that happened at Village Board which said, we don't like unnecessary handcuffs. And President Colley said, well, the village loves unnecessary handcuffs. So if you want to handcuff us on the TV, again, I'm repeating myself, but minimally we're agreeing to dusk and audio control.
Sounds good. Anything else, Julie?
That's all. And I do love the project.
Julie? Thanks, Jerry.
I also love the project, and thank you for repurposing this building. I like that there's a community need where a new building isn't being built and near the historic downtown, and I think there's a community need for this type of building. And I'd also like to thank you for such a thorough packet and for meeting with the neighbors before starting the application process. I was there, and people were all, they came in all upset, and they were like, well, this is really a good alternative. And I ended up leaving and they liked it. Exactly. And I was talking to some neighbors who live around there just over the weekend, and they were like, oh, it's great. It's better than having, commercial or offices going in. And everybody's so happy that the building's being saved, the beautiful stained glass windows. So it's really nice. Thank you. I do have a couple questions. Your lighting on the exterior walls, now will everything have shields?
Yes, we did a photometric plan.
I saw that.
Yeah, we did a couple. So it's directional light up and down, where it gets closer to the sidewalk. There is a photometric.
Because I always get concerned about glare into neighboring properties.
Yeah, so you can pull it up here. It's a little bit tough to see. Oh, it's not even going on here. Anyway, I can see it here, but you can't see it. So,
The photometrics, it's
yeah,
at the end of our packet.
there we go.
It's right near the back.
I can never read the photometrics.
Oh, it's basically, there's like 0-foot candles.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Basically,
Yeah.
it shows 0-foot
And
candles.
there's cut sheets and they're cut off
Okay.
light fixtures.
Right.
Because the shields make a big difference.
Yeah, and we meet code requirements. It's been vetted through staff, so I
Okay.
don't know that, we're
Do you
Probably
have
getting
your
into-
photometric plan depict a light on your flagpole?
it does not.
Well, Chris?
So, but that would be directional, and it shouldn't
That's
affect.
going up.
yeah,
Okay,
the
that's
ex-
gonna go
yeah,
up,
yeah.
right, okay.
Right. So, but you can see if you go around the perimeter of site, it's it's zeros all around.
Okay,
And,
as
yeah.
long as the exterior, the buildings, the ones on the walls have,
Yeah.
the shields too, I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And then I'm not gonna bring up the TV, but your one park, well, those electric scooters in Hinsdale is kind of like a big issue now. And I'm wondering if there's any way where you could say no electric bikes, no scooters. Because I live near the middle school and I see that the kids like all gather around there, they're close to the downtown. And it's really dangerous. And I'm just worried they're all gonna kind of gather in your one park. I don't know if there's any way you could say no electric scooters or bikes or,
Are you worried about the oval park?
the corner park
Oh, the corner
and
park.
the formal sitting garden.
And there's probably
I
sidewalks.
have seen kids dropped off with their bikes close to the downtown. The parents dropping them off with their bikes so they can run around the downtown and then they're picked up later. I just don't want to see that happen in the neighborhood. Kids aren't thinking.
Okay, so, there's been actually quite a bit of discussion about the Eastern Park, the Oval Park. It's quasi-private, quasi-public, whichever one. We would like the church to be able to use it for meditation. And on that park, we plan to put some signage that sort of identifies this. And I think that this is something, I'm just imagining ahead to the 12 homeowners who are like, those kids can't be in that park. We're putting a sign up tomorrow. I mean, so I think, again, that self-governing
Okay.
will step in. On the western one, it's really a public park that's privately
Right.
maintained. And so to that, I would almost have to defer to the municipality or a park district. But what, we could put a guy up on the third floor with a paintball gun. I mean,
I see them gather. I don't know where the kids are coming from, but I see them getting dropped off close to town.
I bet you did it
in
when you were a
pickup
kid.
trucks. No, and I'm always like, it's, at night, like I'm sitting on my front porch, I'm like, what are these kids doing out this late? No lights. I know it's a problem in the
yeah,
village.
they all live in Burr Ridge. It's not walkable or bikeable, and they
And so
drop
they're-
them off here in
they're being
Hinsdale.
dropped off.
I've seen what you're talking about. I just hope they don't find us.
Well, I'm just saying maybe put a sign up before you open.
Yeah,
you know,
I think
just
I would.
to prevent any-
What I'm hearing from you is
That would
just
be
get in
okay.
front of potential problems, and I think we can address that adequately on the eastern part of the site.
Okay.
And then the outdoor family room, living room is going to be secure to the
Yes.
residents. And by the way, just something that occurred to me that I appreciated was the ramp that is now allowing us to be ADA compliant. This isn't a floodplain. There was a lot of work on that 2 feet. But it works really well now for accommodating handicap, but also it provides a way to get out to that outdoor space from our interior of our building. So I digress. But signage will be on the sitting garden,
Okay.
and we'll describe its hours and its use, and no scooters, no bikes, no rollerblades.
Well, hopefully it's not a problem, but
We could do pea gravel. That's no.
hey, pea gravel, that's a solution. Thank you. That's all the questions I had.
Thanks, Julie. Mark?
Yes, thank you very much. Again, I think it's a great project, and a lot of my questions have been answered. Couple questions I do have. Regarding the floodplain, I looked at the stormwater report, and it looks like you guys are 695 is kind of what the elevation you're trying to go for. The garage door, though, it talks about a retaining wall being used to protect the garage. I don't really see that on the elevations or on the site plan. Could you?
So the way it's designed is there is a wall around the garage. There's a retaining wall around the, you can kind of see it there.
Right.
That top of that wall will be at or above the floodplain line, and where the driveway crests, that will hit it too. So that's kind of our border. It goes around that ramp that goes down.
So you're assuming no water will actually
Right.
get down in the ramp then?
Yeah, so, right,
Okay.
so in theory, the water would come up to the edge of that wall and
Okay.
not down, pour over and down into the ramp.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining
Yep.
that. Then another question I had is dumpsters. Do you guys know dumpsters, just the trash room, and then you roll out from there? Is
Yeah,
that-
so let me go to the floor plan here. So the trash room, there's a trash chute in the bottom right-hand corner. There's like the purple stair, and then next to it is kind of that reddish room. That's the trash room. So so there would be a trash chute into there. The plan is the garbage truck would back down the ramp. Ramp's really not that steep. The garbage person would go into the garage door, wheel the trash containers out, dump them, wheel them back in. So that's the trash plan. So they're not wheeling them up to the street. It's all done on site.
So, I'm not.
Small dumpsters.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, so they're
Yeah, just
relatively small.
2-yard
They're like-
dumpsters.
they're buggies, yeah.
So is that
Yeah.
a pretty frequent pickup with this many units then, or is that?
That's something that, you usually work out with the trash company. So a
Okay.
building like this is twice a week, something like that is typical.
Monday,
If it becomes a problem, you have 3 times a week and they just pay another $25. So.
Okay.
Good.
Sometimes the communities are franchised in the refuse services, and that changes the way you approach it. If you can competitively bid it, you get a lot of whatever you want. We want your guy to get out of the truck and move it. If in environments where it's franchised, sometimes it handcuffs a little bit, but we've talked to a couple of different refuse companies in this concept of backing down. Is with Republic Services, I think.
Right, in Hinsdale.
What's that?
Hinsdale's Republic.
Yeah, that's who we spoke with. And so this doesn't seem to be an issue. As far as, I think Chris correctly answered that it'd be twice a week. That's what we actually think it's 1.5 a week, but it doesn't work like that.
Right.
So
Okay, and I'm just more interested in noise. Trash pickup seems to be very, very loud.
it ends up working, ultimately it does work almost like clockwork. You get on a route and they show up at the same time.
Okay.
So, yeah, thank you.
Okay, and then I also have concerns about the sound with the TV. So that I'll just would like you've already offered up some ways to address that, so I just want to put that in the record. And then going back to stormwater, I think last time we heard from some residents about flooding in this area, and I know you guys are reducing the impervious area. But with the addition of the parkway, is there any chance to, do bioretention or something like that in the parkway? I mean, retrofitting I know doesn't give you a lot of opportunity, but is there a way to chip away at some of the flooding issues in this area?
So I'm not the civil engineer. He couldn't be here tonight, but we have worked with him quite a bit. We have, we've even done the stone and that in the park. We've gotten rid of as much impervious area as we can. I would just say that we're not. The site's been there, and I'd also say that there's actually a couple of parcels around there that have actually gotten removed from the floodplain. So I guess the flooding is not as, I don't know if it's changed over the years or what, but it seems like the floodplain is actually adjusting to our favor on this. So maybe if we wait long enough, we don't have to do the floodplains. But it's just, we've talked with the civil engineer. He really is not concerned about the amount of water in that right now.
I was trying to remember the last time I saw any flooding over there. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, I just heard
10 years. I don't know what they did for drainage, but.
Well, we've been separating the sewers,
Yeah,
so it's
right.
probably helping.
That's helping.
There used to be that dancing sewer cap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually saw a car drive into that area and stall, and bubbles come out of its tailpipe as it
That's not,
Oh, my God.
destroyed the engine. But that was 10 years ago, I think.
That was before we added all of this pervious area.
Pea gravel, man.
Mike mentioned an idea and an opportunity where we have these non-conforming spaces that are directly south of the existing building, and we could explore bioswales in that space. That's something that we could potentially look at with the village engineer. You want to add anything to that?
We're taking those spaces out, that parkway.
Yep.
We're not the engineer, but we could have them look at it.
Yeah, just a consideration. I know it's not required by the DuPage County ordinance, but I mean, just a consideration. I'm always a big fan where we have historical flooding, looking for the opportunities, even on a
volume.
small scale,
Yeah.
just to chip away at flooding issues.
Noted. Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have, Steve.
okay, thanks, Mark. Anna?
I read this about the TV today, and I knew everybody was going to have something to say about it. But I actually don't think it's a problem. I think it solves a problem, actually. I think if somebody's going to if they want to have a TV out there, they're going to do one of those blow-up TVs, and if they have their kid, frozen birthday party out there, they're going to do it. I mean, I think it solves a problem. Jerry, I'm sorry you had such a stinker of a neighbor.
I'll ask you to sell my house someday.
Yeah. And hopefully the age restriction helps. There hopefully won't be any ragers out on that patio. That's just my 2 cents on the TV. I think that the items we're tasked with reviewing tonight are all pretty minor, and they check out, and it looks great. And I think you're right. There should be a case study on your submission and your ability to work well with the village. It's been great, and it's so nice to have a packet right, Julie? A packet like
Everything
this. So thank you.
Bethany's a big part of that, so.
All that credit goes to this gal, who's a consummate professional, kept us in line. She's just a total pro. We've done this in
Yes,
so many
she is.
communities. We are so incredibly fortunate to have Bethany Salmon. And Rob McGinnis he's pretty good too.
Exactly.
They are.
Exactly.
They are.
But he's not here, so you get most of the praise.
Rob got to go home. I think it's a great project. I really appreciate you responding to the board's concerns and some of our minor concerns. I'm really excited about the project. I think it's a great reuse. I'm not totally worried about the sound there because there's 4 units that face that spot. I think they'd be more impacted by the sound than neighbors. But I think it's something just to consider in the bylaws, if there's something you can put in there as far as hours and volume. I think that would help. And then again, it's really just people being good neighbors. But I really like it. I thought it was great that it worked out with the stormwater. It was a very creative solution to raise that entry up. The units look good. I thought I was reading that, what's the current mix? Are you looking at, there's gonna be some 3-bedroom units too? Or are they all 2? I thought our plans didn't really reflect something that was in the description.
Yeah, but it's 2+10. There's no more 3 bedrooms. That was something that had come up. So actually, as we reworked things, that worked out. There's one bedroom because of the sprinkler room, but everything else is 2 bedrooms or the 2+10.
Okay, great. Any other questions or comments by the commissioners? Or is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak to this matter? See no one in the audience? Commissioners? Oh,
Yeah. I have one more.
please do, sir. If you come up, tell us your name.
Hi, my name is Tom Hines. I live at 116 South Vine Street, across the street from this project. And like all of you, I think they did a beautiful job. You've done a beautiful job designing the building. My wife and I have lived there for 45 years in that neighborhood, so we have seen a lot. If you have any questions about what it's been like on any subject, I will be happy to answer them. From the beginning of this project, I've been in favor of it only because of how much it's going to improve the look of, and the building itself is a beautiful building. It's great that it's being restored, and it's going to be visually better. That whole side of the street has been an improvement. When we moved in there, it was I believe, what do they call it, a buffer zone, and it allowed low volume businesses over there. And through the years, many came and went, and they were indeed low volume businesses. So from the beginning of this project, my two concerns were the parking and the flood zone. But before I talk about those two, I'm going to add the sound, because this is all new to me since the last meetings. I've been to every meeting there is on this. And this is the first I've heard of the TV situation. And I mean, for what it's worth, I voted it down. But that, at one point, that school was used as a music school. And that ended our sitting on our front porch. I mean, until you have heard a trombone playing Vehicle by the Ides of March over and over and over again of a summer evening, it was loud. And we're three, almost 4 blocks away from the swimming pool, and every time they have their annual meet, we can hear on your mark, get the, swim. Sound does travel, and I mean, that is something I'm not looking forward to. I guess we call the police when it's too loud, or what? But I know, yeah, I know.
Only if it's after 10 o'clock.
I know that's going to be something we're not going to be that happy with. But so that's my new gripe about it. But okay, my main concern is the parking. So let me talk about the flood zone next. In the 45 years we've lived there, yes, it has gotten better. I don't know exactly what they did along Hinsdale Avenue to make it better, but routinely, every time it rained hard, I was down there at the corner, with my rake and my, getting the leaves off and with hip boots on and everything, really. So it's gotten better, but I don't understand the engineering aspect of it, but as long as whatever you're doing there is not putting any more water on Divine Street, because it's still something that, yes, I've seen many cars drive into that and not drive out. Right. It still floods, but it is better, but I just don't want it to get worse again because of all that water, that whatever you're doing with it, I trust you to do the right thing with it. But that was a major concern. So now the main concern, though, is the parking. When I've never complained about parking on that street. It's always been great. It's never been allowed on our side of the street. It's always been allowed on the other side of the street. But all those businesses that came and went, never generated enough traffic that I even noticed. It was like lawyers, and it was insurance men, and an architect had an office there. All of those, and they were asked to put parking behind their buildings, and they all did. But this latest, the counseling services that moved in a couple of years ago has really made it ridiculous there. They have 6 counselors. They have 6 appointments every hour. And although you could drive by there at one point in the day and not see a single car, if there's no appointments that hour, there are also times where there are 8 and 9 cars parked along that side of the street, totally ignoring no parking from here to corner, which is in front of the second house there. Now people stop there and go in and get their smoothie from that food place. But the main thing is the counseling, and it comes and goes every hour. And there are many hours of the day where it is lined with traffic. Okay, well, I don't know how that business got in there, but it's there, we'll live with it. But what I'm concerned about is whatever this is going to generate. So one question I have is, what is the decision on what what Second Street is going to be? Right now, it's one way. And I don't know what you think's gonna happen to it, but if it stays one way, that means everybody who comes out of this building has to turn right and then will join the traffic on Vine Street. So, I mean, I think it's imperative that that become a two-way street now so that people don't have to turn right when they come out of there. The other part is that, as I said, parking has never been allowed on the west side of Vine Street. But once the school closed, and I think it was the year they redid Vine Street, the paving on Vine Street, the no parking school zone signs got taken out. And a couple years later, I was at a meeting here for something else, and I happened to mention that now there's no signs there, and everybody at that meeting agreed, oh no, there's still no parking there. And I'm like, well, there's no signs that say that. So the signs that got put up now say no parking. And there's one at the corner house, and then our house doesn't have one in front of it. There's one in front of, I don't think the next one has one in front of it. Then there's one in front of the fourth house, maybe Dan's house. Anyway, all it says is no parking. Well, it doesn't say it in front of my house, so people park there, especially because the other side of the street is full. So I think that that's got to say, I mean, if it's gonna stay no parking there, which I really, really beg of you all to support that the signs need to say no parking this side of the street.
Right.
Because I just go out and tell people, there's no parking here, and they're like, oh, well, I'm just running in to get a smoothie or something. Like, well, I hope the police don't come, or whatever. No, I hope they do, actually. But anyway, so just please, no parking this side of the street maybe would make it clear. I don't know. But yeah, I just am concerned. I guess the main thing would be you've got to make that a two-way street, or otherwise all those cars are going to have to turn right, and then they're going to be on Vine Street to joining the crowds. And with all the lawn maintenance services that people use, I mean, there's probably 6 different lawn services that come to our block because everybody uses a different one. And so there's always one of those there. There's the 8 or 9 cars for the counseling service. Somebody else has a delivery from FedEx. I mean, we sometimes have to wait to get out of our driveway just until some, commercial vehicle moves. So those are the concerns I have. I'm looking forward. I wish, and then the final thing is that I can't even imagine what you're going to do with all the construction vehicles while you're working on this thing.
Don't change those signs for a little bit. I'm kidding.
No. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know, can't even imagine. I wish I could just go to sleep and wake up 2 years from now and it was all done and everything was fine. But yeah, that's another concern is the construction. So I guess that's it for now.
Great,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
I thought it was stated in here in the packet that the village was still recommending that stay one way. But what were the discussions at the board level on engineering regarding Second Street?
Yeah, there were discussions originally to make the street two-way, but the village board had decided to keep it one-way, and that's something that could be considered later down the road. I think they wanted to look at that as not changing too much of the traffic pattern and then coming back later if that was a concern. So it wasn't completely ruled out, just not part of this approval and something to look at separately. But the recommendation was to keep it for one-way, which is how the plans are right now.
There had been some discussion about Zion Lutheran making their parking spaces available for construction and busy seasons or holidays. Is that progressed or?
That's correct. Real quickly, the construction parking, there's a previously existing parking lot on the site, so we can park there for construction vehicles, as well as once the garage is completed, they could park in the garage. There is a letter that was gracious and generous that the church produced, that there will be a collaboration if we have a resident who has an overnight guest, if a grandchild comes for a long weekend, they're willing to work with us on that, and we appreciated that. So I don't think we're going to further contribute to the parking issues. I don't know that there's any solving of them. With the baseball team that was using the facility, that seemed to have, that was a couple of years ago, that generated really a lot of traffic, but maybe our residents will be the ones that are using the consulting services and are walking now, but I don't know about that. So, thank you.
Does someone else want to speak on it? Okay.
Daniel Dioria. I just moved in. I'm on the opposite side of the longevity spectrum as Tom. I moved into 128 South Vine 3 months ago now.
Okay.
And the last thing I want to be is an impediment or a barrier to any of this. Sounds like this is the end of a long journey for you all, which I can appreciate. I would just second Tom's point about the parking. And then I guess more sort of broadly, having access to the materials that you all have, frankly. There's pretty significant implications, balconies that will be now looking at my house, which heretofore I was entirely unaware of. So again, don't want to slow the process down, but for my own edification, it would be helpful to be able to review sort of the full proposal.
It's all, if you go to the village website, it's the Plan Commission, the entire packet's there. It's a large PDF that you can review everything.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Seeing none, should we close the public hearing?
Can I ask one question? The question about the no parking versus the no parking this side of the street, is that something, since it was supposed to be that, can we make that correction?
Yeah, that's something that I can work with Mr. Hines on and get him in touch with Public Services and our police department. If we're
Great.
lacking some street signs,
Great.
that's something that we can look at that's completely separate from this.
Right.
And
And
that might-
I have talked about that before, so we can certainly follow up.
Okay, thank
We
you.
have a sign like that in front of our house, but it's no parking this side of the street, so usually it isn't a problem.
Right. They get the idea.
They
This
get
side.
the idea, yes. Not that they still don't do it, but.
Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Krillenberger seconds.
Roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Harlow?
Aye.
Commissioner Curry?
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger?
Aye.
Commissioner Jablonski?
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich?
Aye.
Commissioner Willoughby?
Aye.
Commissioner Fiasconi? Aye. Chairman Cashman?
Aye. Okay, commissioners, thoughts, comments? Seems like everyone likes the proposal. Any conditions that you want to put on the recommendation? We talked about, for the outdoor, area, restrictions on hours and volume, and have investigating putting that in the bylaws. And I would like the village board to reconsider the two-way street. I do,
I
seems
agree.
like,
I
it
agree.
makes more sense when it's a school, it's really common. But that's for safety, dropping off kids, getting everyone going in the same direction. It seems like it doesn't make sense anymore. And I think it'd be better for the neighborhood if it was two-way. So I'd want the trustees to reconsider that.
I agree.
Other thoughts? No? Then can I have a motion to approve case A-38, 2022 for plan development detail plan, exterior appearance and site plan review, map amendment, tentative and final plat of subdivision, sign permit review to allow the development of 12 age-restricted lifestyle housing units within the existing building at 125 South Vine Street. As submitted with the recommendation to investigate bylaws for the sound, for hours and volume, and then ask the board to look into this parking signs in the neighborhood, and the two-way street, and I also like the idea of investigating anything else you could do with the stormwater to, if you could add some kind of volume, that would be great.
So moved, Willoughby.
You have a second?
Second, Curry?
Roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Harlow,
Aye.
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Jablonski,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Willoughby,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiasconi,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye. Thank you. Good luck. Okay. Our next order of business is a public meeting. First case A-28, 2023 for 102 West Chicago Avenue, Fuller's Car Wash. Exterior appearance and site plan review to allow for the installation of a brick wall and bollards at 102 West Chicago Avenue in the B1 Community Business District. Thank you. Thank you for tonight.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joel Gronewald. I'm an attorney for Fuller Center, for Fuller Service Center, Inc., the applicant in this case. I submitted the packet. Everybody's seen it. It's self-explanatory. This is basically in response to a terrible tragedy that everybody knows that lives in this community, as we all do. And my clients are looking to install bollards, which were already installed, and a brick kind of enclosure to hide the bollards, because I think personally they're unsightly. Something that would match the current fencing around the north parking lot or the north part of the Fuller Service Center. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. I don't have much more to add other than that. I mean, it's obviously a difficult situation and a heartbreaking situation.
Okay. Thanks. Anna?
I just have a question as to, could you give a little bit of background or explanation as to who did you talk to about where the ballards were supposed to be placed, et cetera, in terms of the safety of where those go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I totally did it. I don't know how to explain this. After the accident happened, and in the 78 years we've been there, 2 other times there have been things that go, close calls, and we just worked it as a group and tried to make it safer and safer. And then after this tragic accident, I couldn't ever sleep. Nobody's gonna die the way Sean did. I don't know if somebody could get hit across the street or going through Mobile or anywhere else in town, but nobody's gonna die the way that poor family has to live the rest of their lives. So I just put them up. And then
But the location is where you believe that's
I believe
all I'm asking.
where I've seen one go this way, I've seen one go this way when the guy comes out. If it happened, like I said, 3 times in 78 years, it's just a freak of a nature thing, but it's never gonna happen on my watch. So I put them up where I thought would be secure. We lost a lot of spots. It'd be difficult more to wash cars there. We're just trying to make it so now you guys are happy with the looks of it.
No, and I totally appreciate that. I just want to make sure that we're doing this in the right spot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I just did the way it's the safest from being there for the last 45 years.
I think when they had Murphy come in and do this, I think it was as close to the lot line as they could get to still protect the sidewalk and still allow vehicles to be pulled out of the exterior of the car wash. Either, making that left-hand turn or maybe making the right-hand turn toward the veterinary parking lot there.
Yeah, I guess my question was similar to were these engineered or, to be protective? It sounds like.
You can't drive through it, so
Yeah,
nobody
that's
will
what
get
I-
hurt
that's
ever
what I
again.
figured.
They're concrete-filled steel bollards, and I
Right.
think they
4
went
feet
down 4 feet
Okay.
into the subsurface.
Okay. And
So the wall will just be a hollow wall around
Right,
it,
exactly.
just for aesthetics.
Yeah, okay, and then, similar, so that's where it's at right now, obviously it's really close to the sidewalk. That's where it has to be for you guys to be operational to
Yeah.
make that turn.
Yeah, it's very tight right now, just
Yeah.
the way it is, but I'd rather lose business than have it go the other way, you know?
I think overall the wall looks good though, as proposed. I like your other wall at the service center as well, in the landscaping.
Julie?
So the bollards are more of a barrier and the wall's more decorative to hide those, more of a cosmetic?
Correct. I mean, obviously, you look at the bollards now and you think of big shopping center, or, you know, going on Route 83 with the Target balls in front, and, I mean, they're unsightly, I think.
We're gonna match the wall to the north, and then we'll put some flowers in it and do it classy the way the town is, so.
That's all I had, thank you.
Jerry?
I couldn't find, and I appreciate your concern for the safety, but with respect to the construction, this is gonna be full solid brick, 2-inch, it's not a fake.
No, it's not the
actual-
facade, it's full solid brick, yeah.
Okay, and the top is full solid limestone?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm fine with
Like the
that.
existing wall on the north side, yes.
Oh, some people have tried to put plastic by us.
No, no.
Steve usually catches them if I don't.
This is all legitimate brick and limestone and mortar, it's not.
And we're sorry that we're even at this point, even talk about something like this.
Sympathy to all involved. I have no questions.
Cynthia?
Typical of everything you do, you always do it well, so I knew what you were doing. Thanks for your response so quickly, and I agree the wall's gonna look wonderful, and I'm just really sorry for all involved, especially all of you. It's heartbreaking. But you're doing the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
My, I agree with that. So my main question would be, is there enough space between where the edge of the new wall will be and the sidewalk to plant the way that you have plantings on the north side by the service center?
The problem is it's all impervious right now. It's
Surface
pavement
right now.
and
Okay.
goes right into concrete. I mean, if
Yeah.
you dig it out, I think there's a 3-inch, I gotta look back at the site plan, but I think there's a 3-inch gap between the lot line and the existing bollards. So the bricks would fit in there, but I don't know if there'd be enough room to plant. But I think the intention was to maybe hang planters on the side of it or put planters on top or something like that. Sort of what was done at Dips and Dogs when they put that wall in back when Fuller's owned that.
Right, right.
But I don't think there's enough room to actually put plantings in like the north wall, especially north of the driveway, which is about probably 12, 15 feet.
Right.
South of that, it's only about 2.5 feet, I think, but they still have nice plantings there.
Okay.
I just don't think there's enough room. But if you guys request it and make it part of it, I mean, the Fullers will make it happen. Dig out the pavement or do something.
Well, you know, whatever you guys want me to build, this is strictly for the safety of it.
I was really more curious than anything else.
I mean, I would be concerned just with, you know, all the salt and driving the cars.
Right.
I don't know how you'd grow, you know, grow something on top of the wall or a planter up there. I think that might make
Right.
it. But
I
something
think
down,
that's about what we'll do, yeah.
Down low wouldn't.
I agree. Yeah.
I would just suggest that you know, pour a foundation and then set the top, I don't know, 6 inches above the pavement there, because you're gonna have so much salt that just where the wall's gonna deteriorate.
Yeah.
If you get a mason out there every
It's a
year.
good idea.
You know, it's just so you can, because I know you guys keep it safe there in the winter, so people aren't slipping, but I think if you just have a foundation wall about 6 inches up, you should be fine. And I think it looks nice, and it's
I think that's a good idea.
necessary solution to the problem.
And one more note, I'm sorry I did it without getting the approval. And I'm very sorry, me and Rob are friends, but I was disrespectful to him when it was just an emotional time, so.
I teased
gotta
him about
put
it.
that
I
on
said that it's probably not the first time that someone's done something and asked for forgiveness in Hinsdale. Every house probably happens for
Yeah.
him. So. But no, I appreciate it.
Fullers did get issued a couple citations for that, for which
Yeah,
I'm
I saw.
defending them, so, yes.
Great. All right, thank you. Commissioners, any other thoughts, comments? If not, can I have a motion to approve case A-28, 2023 as submitted?
Krillenberger, so motions. Jablonski, second.
A roll call vote, please, Bethany?
Commissioner Harlow,
Aye.
Commissioner Curry,
Aye.
Commissioner Krillenberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Jablonski,
Aye.
Commissioner Cernovich,
Aye.
Commissioner Willoughby,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiascone,
Aye.
Chairman Cashman.
Aye.
Thank you,
Great,
guys.
thanks.
Thank you, Commissioners,
Thanks.
Chairman, thank
Thanks.
you all.
God
Have a
bless
good
you.
evening.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Krillenberger, so motions.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.